Okay, how am I doing? Good?
Good.
Good? Okay. I was thinking today about what my favorite Christmas verse is. Anybody want to guess what my favorite Christmas verse is? What do you think? Luke 2:11, that would be a good one. Jingle bells, that's always a good one. Well, let me tell you a little bit about how my morning started, okay? This morning I was sitting in my office like I usually do. I get here early enough to put the coffee on so it's ready. And then like people started to get here for worship practice and all of those things. And guess who came and sat in my chair in my office to talk to me? Bridget. Yep. Bridget came and sat because sometimes as oldest we've got to talk about how to straighten out younger siblings and stuff like that, right, Bridget? So Bridget and I probably talked for a half an hour. And Bridget, I really enjoyed that. Thank you. Okay? And then after that I came out and Nora and Jaden were running around and Selah and Bruce and all of those things and Bruce ran away. That's pretty normal. And then we started to talk a little bit about Christmas. You know how many days till Christmas? 10. We talked about that. 10 days till Christmas. And all of that, all of my time with all of you this morning reminded me of my favorite Christmas verse.
What?
This might not sound like a Christmas verse to you, but I think it is, okay? No, there's a time when Jesus he's hanging around and like he's really important by then because people know who he is and what's going on, and lots of people are coming to him. And some children came and they're sitting with Jesus. And the disciples said, man, we got to get these kids out of here because, look, it's really important that Jesus talk to these adults.
That's in my verse Bible.
But here's my favorite Christmas verse, what Jesus said back to him. Unless we become like little children, we'll never inherit the kingdom of God. See, Christmas is about like becoming like a little child again. And just remembering what God has done for us. And giving thanks. It's not for the gifts or any of those things. But because sometimes as adults we get a little kind of jaded and those kind of things, and we go, yeah, well, Christmas, I got to buy all these gifts, I got to run here, I got to run there. But you guys just say, I'm just going to celebrate Christmas. And I think that's a Christmas verse when Jesus said, unless you become like a little children. So I'm always excited to see your excitement. So always have excitement when you come to church, okay? Dance around, sing around, talk about those things. Come and sit in my office and talk to me like Bridget did. I'm excited to see those things. Let's pray together, okay? And then I think you guys got a project for Children's Church. Ready? We're going to pray together. Lord, thank you for the day. Father, I am so grateful for children. I'm so grateful that they bring a level of excitement and just remembering that sometimes us adults just kind of go through life and forget. Father, I pray your blessing upon these children and all the children of this area who we have the privilege to minister with. Bless them today. Remind them again of the beauty of Christmas and the child that came. And help us to all just remember Christmas with childlike faith. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, you're off. All right. Well, this is like last Sunday was rare because I was here and I didn't preach. This week is going to be 2 weeks in a row. Don't get too used to it. But one of the things I want to do before I put Justin over, I just remembered this. I looked back there and saw Matthew. And I don't think we did a good enough job last week of announcing it. But for those of you who were here last week, Matthew sang? What's the right one? He sang during the offertory. And the song that he sang was one that your dad wrote. And we're hoping in the future to get him to share a few more of those. His dad was just a good musician, and we always enjoyed hearing from them as part of Bay Shore. But I probably didn't give you enough credit for that. And like I said, that was pretty quiet. So, and that was, one of the kids last week said we should have him sing every week. So, after we get the choir done next week, maybe we can do that. And we're so appreciative of sharing that that original from your dad, obviously. So that's good. And now I'm going to turn Justin on, and I'm just going to sit and listen to another message.
So just like Brian had a chance to kind of introduce me last week, I don't have as much history with Brady as what Brian has with me, but first met Brady, I think 6 or 7 years ago when I started working over at Cass City Missionary Church, and his family had just before that, right about that same time, started attending there, and but Brady was already graduated from high school and had kind of moved on, but I kind of got to know him a little bit through a young adults Bible or Sunday school that we were part of over there. And for those of you who don't know, Brady is finished. He has submitted his final evaluation for his last class. That was this internship that he was able to do because of some of the education that I have. And so we said, all right, you can come to the church and we'll make you do some stuff around here. So so as his time was finishing, I wanted him to just kind of share some of the things that he had learned. And somehow, or maybe it was the plan all the way from the beginning, sharing became, you're going to do the message this Sunday. So it's kind of evolved into that. So I'm just as excited. I got to see part of the PowerPoint this morning, so some great pictures of Brady from way back when. But I hope through this message that you hear his heart and you hear just how Christ has worked through his journey over these last couple years, and what God has worked in him to just bring a message into a world where not a lot of Christians are always willing to go, because and just the way that God has used Brady in some of those settings, and I know Brady's extremely humble in the way that he'll present it, and so but I'm just looking forward to hearing that message for him. So I'm going to pray for you, Brady, and then Frank, I got he's on Brown, so we just might have to adjust a little bit when he starts speaking, but so I'm going to pray for him, and if you'll join me in praying for him as he gets ready to bring God's word. So, Heavenly Father, God, thank you for Brady, and just as he has just been your servant, Lord. And Father, I just pray for him now that you would equip him to bring your words, Father, that your Spirit is just resting on him. And Father, if there's any nerves or anything like that, Father, that they would just be calmed, and that, Father, we, as your church, would just be prepared to hear your message, to hear your words that Brady is bringing now through his testimony and through just the story of his life. Thank you, God, that you have kind of crossed our paths at this point in time, and just pray for him as he's getting ready, Lord. Give him your words, Lord. Rest your Spirit on him. In Jesus' name we pray.
Hello. All right. There we go. Good morning, guys. All right. Like Justin said, my name is Brady Wright. I've been interning here the last few months, and I've had the pleasure of meeting a lot of you and getting to know you. And I just thought I'd take this time today to kind of share about myself and the things that I've learned over the years, but also just, use it as a testimony and how I'm still learning from it today, and how I plan to use it going forward now that I'm closing this chapter of my life. So if you guys have been here the last couple weeks, you know that this isn't necessarily a very Christmas-themed message series. Jesus came, so what? And today you're going to get more of a class presentation with my PowerPoint. So have fun with this time capsule. So this is my integrating testimony, mission in progress. I like transitions a lot, so you're going to see a lot of weird transitions. So this is going to be my main verse, it's 1 Corinthians 9:19 through 23. For though I am free from all, I have made myself a servant to all, that I might win more of them. To the Jews I became as a Jew in order to win the Jews. To those who under the law I became as one under the law, though not being myself under the law, that I might win those under the law. To those outside the law I became as one outside the law, not being outside the law of God, but under the law of Christ, that I might win those outside the law. And to the weak I became weak, that I might win the weak. I have become all things to all people, that by all means I might save some. I do it all for the sake of the gospel, that I may share with them in its blessings. So this verse is going to be a main theme throughout my whole presentation here, and I just feel called to, and I wrestle with just being convicted by this all the time. So we'll come back to that a little bit later. Yeah, thank you. All right, so we're going to start with my early life. Growing up, I was homeschooled, live in Cass City. I struggled a lot with worry and anxiety, feeling lost, mostly to things that I shouldn't have been scared of. I just didn't know. So, I struggled with just being scared of every disease that I could possibly come down with. And I think I was around 9 or 10, and I remember being at my grandma's house, and she was just asking how my life is, what I'm doing as a 9 or 10-year-old. I'm sure it wasn't that exciting, but I just told her, for some reason, I just felt like I needed to tell her that I've just been worried and struggling with being scared of stuff, and, probably just went down the list. But she told me a couple verses, one of them being 1 Peter 5:7, which is cast your cares upon him, for he cares for you. And then she told me this one, which is Isaiah 41:10. Now, some of you guys here in the church might know this one because it's next to the sink in the guy's bathroom. But I'm going to bring it out here so everyone can read it. So, Isaiah 41:10. All right. Fear not, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, and I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. And I remember the verse and the translation that I had growing up was victorious right hand. And I think that one rang more true for me back then than knowing what righteous meant. So with my victorious right hand, and I knew that from that moment, it really hit me when my grandma shared that with me, that I can beat the things in life, but not on my own power. And I need to rely on God, because God has the victory already. So this is my life verse, and you're going to see this a lot through this presentation. But all right, so here's some pictures from graduation, high school, and hockey. So I played for a hockey team out of Flint that traveled throughout the East Coast and up into Canada sometimes, and we were gone every weekend. I'm not saying that this was very high level in the sense that I was going to go pro, but this is the route you would take if you were to pursue something like that. So it was very exhausting, 3 practices a week, gone on the weekend, all weekend. So you really got to know these guys. And being homeschooled, I never really was a part of a lot of things with the public school, with just being around people. The only stuff that I really had for social interaction was church, and then sports whenever that did happen. But this was a huge jump for me in terms of being on my own. And I started in junior year of high school playing with this team, and right away, they can tell if you're like them. And let's just say that I had some tough times getting in there and getting them to talk to me. But I learned a lot just going through that to say the world is not like I thought it was. And you can never truly prepare for something that hasn't happened yet. But I think that as long as you rely on God, and I had my verse, and I knew Isaiah 41:10, and I said, no matter what's going to happen, as long as I know what I believe, it doesn't matter what's going to come. So when I got here, it's every weekend. This was pretty consistent for 4 years of my life, taking me up to, probably like 19 or 20. And a lot of the times on the weekend, I'm alone. This is 3 days traveling to Maryland, and I'm feeling alone because no one really shares the same beliefs that I do. I have constant, people bugging me with, hey man, why don't you swear? Hey, you want to drink this? No, I don't. So you could say that I didn't take the right steps to appease them either. So it didn't really make my social situation with them any better. But I mean, that brings about a lot of discomfort and unease. And a lot of the times I remember going back to my parents and just saying, oh man, can I just not go to practice today? Because this is not fun. So, but through that, I had a huge time of spiritual and mental growth. And it really helped me to establish that I don't need to care what other people think about me. And I think throughout my life after that, up until this point, obviously I'm not that old, but it's really stuck out that I don't care what people think. I don't go to them for my worth. I get my worth from God. And so Isaiah 41:10 helped me a lot through those years. So now, about 5 or 6 years ago, I learned how to play guitar, and I wanted to play music. So I started a band with my friends, and it was just a punk band, which is all you can really do when you don't know how to play music or sing. So started out a lot worse than it is now, but I really wanted to reach, because I had a lot of influence growing up from the music that I listened to, and there was a lot of Christian artists. But as I started to feel, there was a lot of Christian artists that were turning their back on their faith in the music that I like, in the punk scene and heavier music. And so, not thinking, oh man, I'm going to go out there and reach the world, which I haven't, but just saying, if I can just start doing something, maybe I can, make a difference, or start myself on a path to make a difference. So these are just a few pictures of shows over the years, and blonde hair. So ministry and mission of my band, I'm going into, the factors are pretty much just the areas that I'm going into, and they're non-Christian for the most part. I think we've only played a few Christian shows, but it's in bars, it's in venues all across Michigan. And something that's really is tough is going into those types of areas and venues as a Christian. Again, you just start sticking out because you're not drinking, you're not partying with these people, and you're not swearing. And so it became another point of, hey, why are you like this and not like us? And why don't you come hang out with us at parties? So I felt a really big call from God to really lean into this type of environment, to just try to be any type of light, or at least just be there to answer any questions or talk to people just about any any day, everyday living. And PC culture plays a big point in this too, because especially in the alternative music scene that I mostly find myself in, it's very, I don't know if you guys are very familiar with cancellation culture, where you say one thing and then everyone takes it wrong and then it's over. So it's kind of a minefield sometimes, even on a small scale, local scale, of navigating the minds, but just trying not to ruin your witness. You're building this up to be, hey, I'm trying to reach you. I'm trying to show you that you don't have to indulge in addiction, or you don't have to feel alone because people are here. So my contributions with the band, these are kind of like our mission statements, is we want to bring positivity. Obviously, we don't want to tear people down while we're singing, or being respectful at the venues and bars, and relating through lyrics. Something that I've always been mindful of is Christian bands kind of separate themselves from the secular side of music, because a lot of Christians will say, you're not Christian unless you're singing about God, in the sense that you're referencing him all the time and you're singing worship music, and I've been a large proponent of, this is coming from a Christian perspective, and I'm gonna lead you back to God, and I'm gonna be here to talk to you about it, but all I really want to do is show you that we're just like you. We're going through the same things that you're going through, self-doubt, anxiety, depression, friends committing suicide, and all I'm trying to do is point out, hey, I recognize this stuff is happening too, so what are we going to do about it? So what I've started recently is promoting resources and organizations. So at shows, I will have resources to organizations that talk about how to get over loss or suicide, and like self-doubt, anxiety, and just promote that type of stuff to say, hey, like, these are people that we agree with. These are Christian organizations, but we just want to just put them out there, because if I'm not taking every chance that I can to put as much effort as I can into reaching people, it feels wasted, and I feel like I've been wasting a lot of those opportunities, and I really want to start doing that now. And promoting discussion really just hits on, hey, what did you sing in that lyric? That was kind of weird. It kind of hit me. Oh, well, it was this. I'm not referencing Jesus by name in our songs, but when I say there is a way, just hold on, because it's gonna, you can get through these hard times. Have to feel that way. You're not doing it on your own. And then they'll come and talk to me after the show. They'll talk to me, and I'll just try to do my best to count on God and see how he leads the conversation. Hopefully, well, I trust that he'll give me the words to reach these people. And if there's not a life-changing moment at that time, I mean, it's just planting seeds, because, like I said, there's nobody in our area that's that's a Christian band. Otherwise, I would be talking with them too and trying to get them to come alongside. But so lyrical song topics, kind of already said a little bit of it, but suicide prevention. I had a friend who didn't commit suicide, thankfully, but he, just expressing those thoughts to me, I was like, man, I feel like I need to write a song about that. So tried to write a song about it, sent it to him, sent it to other people, and a lot of people seemed to like it. So that's nice. Self-doubt, depression, anxiety, self-worth, perseverance, healthy relationships. there's a lot of pain out there, especially with these kids, and they're not having a lot of this when they go to these shows. They get it all at home. They're going through all this stuff, and then when they go to a local show, it's a lot of, this is where I come to just not think about stuff. And sometimes that becomes a great time to plant seeds, because they open themselves up and they free themselves, and you can have God speak through you, speak some truth into their lives. And so that's so here's just an example of one of the songs that I wrote about persevering. The chorus kind of is in a negative sense. The first chorus here will say, hold on, because everything seems harder in the dark, but there's a way out. So kind of alludes to something else there. It's hard to see the masterpiece that's living inside me, implying that they have worth. And if I can't do this on my own, what if I'll always be alone? So everyone always says you can't do this life on your own. You got to have people. But what if you don't have people there? Does that mean you're not going to make it? So the way that we present that, in the outro, we come in with slow down, because when you see you're full of worth, it's there you'll find a way out. I want you to see the masterpiece that's inside you and me. No, we don't have to do this on our own, because we'll never be alone. So it's not drenched in stuff that a lot of churches would listen to this and be like, this is a Christian song and this is a worship song. It's obviously not a worship song, but it's the best thing that I can, at this point, try to put into the world to try and reach some people, just to say, hey, we're all going through this. We're all struggling with this type of stuff. I've been there too, so we can talk about it. Let's I've talked to a lot of people after shows just about any number of things, and got to know them, and so all right, so back to the all things to all people. That doesn't mean that we are going to compromise our beliefs. So the best thing that I've found for myself to wrap my head around that is colorblind tests. And if you just thought that these were just circles, then I got bad news for you. But so it's not compromising, but refocusing. So within these dots, in case you didn't know, there's numbers, and they're hidden in the sense that it will tell you whether you're colorblind or not. But we don't want to change what it is, right? Like, let's say this is our beliefs. All we should do is refocus it. Let's see how we can reach that person with the same message. It doesn't necessarily mean let's go back on what we're saying and just change the message altogether. So maybe instead of changing what this is, let's just change the colors. Maybe they'll receive that a little better. They'll be able to see it. So I have kind of used this as my focal point of reaching people. Is like, okay, there is a way to reach you. I don't know what it is yet, but let me just talk to you. Let's establish a relationship to figure it out, and then I'm going to present the truth and the gospel the best way I can, try to read from the way they receive things. So it's not compromising. All right. So let's get down to business. All right, so the main points are, do not be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. John the Baptist, do not be afraid to step out of your comfort zone, and that's my life verse again. Do not be afraid, for I'm with you. God's gonna strengthen you. He's gonna be there to support you and give you the words to say and to help try to reach that person. So, it's just stepping out. And Justin last week said something that made me think of the second point, which is John the Baptist was faithful and put himself in the right place to be used by God. it was something I hadn't really thought about, but John the Baptist is also living his life the whole time Jesus is growing up, right? And it kind of struck me weird to be like, oh, he didn't just appear as an adult and baptize Jesus. So John the Baptist had to be faithful in this mission, and to be used as a vessel had to place himself out there to be there when Jesus starts his ministry. John the Baptist baptized him, obviously. That's his name. So you have to be there. And if you're not afraid to step out, you can be afraid, but real courage, real bravery is when you are afraid and you still act. So even if you're scared to maybe reach people at work or reach people at your school, just act, because you know that it's right, and God will honor that. God will support you and strengthen you. Creating a trusting relationship is the first step to reaching people. People won't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. Yeah, and that's a huge principle within psychology and counseling. I did attend Liberty University for my bachelor's here, and my degree is in psychology and counseling. So this is a major principle that they teach you. Create a trusting relationship. Creating rapport with someone is the first step into getting into their world, getting them to trust you so that you can really listen to their heart and to help them out. So yeah, people won't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. All right, so this is the so what to the Jesus came so what. What if I'm not strong enough or I don't know enough? So what? God doesn't call the equipped, he equips the called. All scripture is breathed out by God and profitable for teaching, for reproof, for correction, and for training in righteousness, that the man of God may be complete, equipped for every good work. 2 Timothy 3:16 through 17. So it doesn't matter. So what? I can look back on my testimony, and I have this whole last week, and I've learned more about myself to say, wow, I can see at each point, from my grandma teaching me that verse to this point in hockey, to this point, to say God's preparing me for the future, and he's prepared me for everything along the way and continues to prepare me for what I'm going to be doing. What if I'm afraid of how they will respond? So what? God promises to be with us and to give us strength as long as we trust in him. And life verse again. It's just, you can always be scared of everything that that might happen, but nothing's going to happen that's going to stop, your mission. You're acting with God. You're doing the will of God, and you're doing your best to just stay close to him, keep your relationship with him strong, and as long as you're staying close with him, it doesn't matter what could happen. Just don't even think about that stuff. In numerous verses in the Bible, God says, don't be afraid, don't worry. It's commanded that we should not, do not worry. And it doesn't stop me from worrying a lot, but this is a mission in progress, and I was very nervous to come up here and talk, but that's what I'm talking about. So it's kind of weird to be like, don't be afraid to step out, and I'm like, how do I get through this? It's counting on God. So all right, so my current situation, future goals, supposed to be funny that there's a White House, because I'm not running for president. Don't worry. So, okay. So I'm finishing my internship. It's been a few months here, and it's been great. I've been looking for a church to go to in the last 2 years, and I can't tell you how many times I could probably count, but how many times I've been at those churches and just it didn't feel right. I went to one church, tried to talk to the pastor just to get a good grip of what they believe, what they do, because I'm not satisfied with websites and sentences on there. So try to talk to him, and all he does is direct me to the website. And I can't even meet with him. He's like, "Oh, just take the class. You can book me through my personal speaking email." Okay, so I've been kind of skeptical towards a lot of modern established churches, and I just want some place that feels like a church that is just soaked in the Word, and to be able to reach the community. And being here, contacting Justin about an internship and coming here, I was, it's a church, so let's see how this goes. I'm trying to be as open-minded as I can because I don't want to jump to conclusions. And so meeting Peggy here was was a good first step. But no, it really opened my eyes to a lot of things that I was skeptical to over those last 2 years, to say, oh, I'm in Cass City, this is in Sebween, and this is happening here. This is awesome. How do I not know about this, And just working with Justin and learning from him, his degrees in counseling. So I came here, and I didn't necessarily think about a career with counseling or religious Christianity beliefs, to faith integration into counseling, Christian counseling. I'm more of on the clinical side. So staying more psychologically minded, coming here gave me a great taste of something I wouldn't normally subject myself to. So to see what Justin has learned through his years, and just learning from him, and seeing what happens at a church on a day-to-day basis, and what goes in behind just the preparation on Sunday, and the activities throughout the week, has been such a profound education for me. And so I just want to thank you guys for welcoming me here, and just showing me how the church should be. And so the next step for me is going to be applying for graduate schools, probably at the beginning of the year. I need to rest a little bit because I'm tired. Faith integration, I've been talking about it this whole time, is whether it be hockey, just trying to be a light to those people. At no point do I ever look at it and go, those people were horrible. I just feel sad for what they've learned and how they act, and just pray for them and wonder where they're at now. My band, I'm trying to integrate anything I can with my band to share the truth that maybe reaches people who wouldn't normally get it. And that's really cool too, because just this week I went down to help out one of my friend's bands who was recording a new song, and he wanted me to be on it. But the topic of, should I put this swear word here, would that be cool, came up, and he asked me, and I'm like, I don't think it's gonna help anything, even musically, and he's like, yeah, I noticed that you guys don't even swear in your songs. Like, I kind of don't want to do that either. I feel like it's kind of a crutch when it comes to lyric writing. And I was like, okay. But it's also, so it's just things that I don't even realize that people notice. Is like, hey, I noticed you don't swear. I was like, oh, I'm around that all the time, so I don't even notice. But, I think the main point of this is just, no matter where you're at, where you're at in life, or what you're doing, whether it be a choir or work, school, any type of hobby, God calls us to use those moments to push His message and live out His will. And so I hope that you guys take that from this. But that's my testimony thus far, and I'll come back and tell you guys later if it works. But I'll just pray real quick for us, and so please bow your heads. Dear God, thank you for this time this morning to be able to share my testimony and to just be around these people and to learn from them and come alongside them and be able to reach the community here in Sebewaing, and then wherever we are in our lives to just do our best to stick close to you, that we don't have to be prepared for the unknown. As long as we stick close to you, we can take anything on. So we love you. Just help us have a great rest of the day in this Christmas time, and that we focus on you every day to be grateful for you sending your son to save us. But we love you.